Good morning, everyone. Hope you're having a great day. I'm having a hectic day because little Thomas is sick. How sad is that? What in the world is this image? There's something on my computer. What is this? Weird. Okay. There's a weird symbol over the top of many of my icons now. Who knows what that means? Computer maybe is hacked, so that would not be good. If I attempt to send you money, or you attempt to send me money, don't do it, because I may be hacked. Actually, I'm not hacked. I think we're fine. All right. What are we going to talk about today? Well, first things first. Congrats to Louis Philippe, one of the people we backed, a poker coaching member. He took, I don't know what place he took, 100-something place, in the WPT 500 in Montreal. Got a nice cash for 1,050 Canadian dollars. Congrats to him. Good job, good work. We are continuing to back more and more of you. I think we backed 3 people in tournaments so far. 2 of them have cashed. 1 of them is not. That's pretty good. They probably weren't card dead. We're going to discuss today how to thrive when you're card dead. We'll get there in a minute. There are a few other announcements. Like I said, you can always apply to get backed if you are a poker coaching member, and every month we plan on backing some of you. So far, we haven't even lost much money on it. So that's good. And eventually one of you will win something for us, so that'll be amazing. Win the whole tournament for us. However, if you're not a poker coaching member, or if you are, we're doing giveaways. Every month we do loads and loads of giveaways. I was thinking about this. I think I've given away about $20,000 in tournament buy-ins or cash game buy-ins to all of you over the last 18 months or so. Hope you appreciate that. Some of you have been going out there enjoying it. Obviously, everyone cannot win, but hey, that's okay. We're doing 2 giveaways right now. One is for a $1,100 buy-in card player poker tour tournament entry, plus 6 months to poker coaching premium. You can enter that at jonathanlittlepoker.com/CP giveaway, card player giveaway. And also, we have another giveaway where I'm giving away 1% of my action for the Party Poker Caribbean Poker Party. I'm going to be playing probably about 70,000-ish in buy-ins. Hopefully it is way less than that. Hopefully just in the main event and that's it. But anyway, I'm giving away 1% of that action. You can enter that giveaway at jonathanlittlepoker.com/PP giveaway. So we have jonathanlittlepoker.com/CP giveaway, 1/PP giveaway. And there's more free stuff for all of you. Explain why you're so against reviewing hands at Live at the Bike. Well, because I asked Live at the Bike if I can use their footage, and they said, not without paying us. And I am not in the business of stealing content from people. So I recognize some people, perhaps they bought licenses, perhaps they're stealing it. I don't know the deal that they have. But they told me they are currently actively pursuing some people to try to get them to take down their content. So it's not. I love Live at the Bike. I have nothing against Live at the Bike. I'm against stealing. So please recognize that. And I do think that if someone produces a show, it is their content, and you should not just go around stealing their content. Just because it is on the internet somewhere, often behind a paywall, as in Live at the Bike's case, you should not think that it's just yours to take as you see fit. So recognize that just because something is not happening often just means we haven't come to a business arrangement. And I'm not someone who just goes around taking whatever I want from other people without worrying about it. Or just saying, well, if you want to stop me, sue me. That's not how I operate. But that's how some people operate. And sometimes they're praised for it. All right, let's see. Just became a grandfather. Frogman Matt, congrats. Good job, good work. Let's see. You love my work, but now you're down 25K. Should you just throw in the towel? Well, the question is, are you improving or are you not? If your results are literally straight down into the dumpster, ask yourself why. And most likely, either you're not very good. If that's the case, figure out why you're not very good. Maybe you're studying the wrong things. Maybe you are playing against tougher opponents than you. I don't know. But then also, you may be playing in games that are unbeatable. If you're playing like small stakes cash games, you may not be able to win because the rake's too high. If you're playing small stakes tournaments with a 25% rake, you may not be able to win. So, like, it's easy to go on a 25k downswing playing in games where you're always going to have a minus 20% ROI. So recognize that. But there are many reasons why you may be on a infinite downswing, but you need to figure out why that is. You recommended me for a Tournament Poker Edge podcast. I don't necessarily know what the Tournament Poker Edge podcast is. I know it's a training site. I'm always happy to go on any podcast to try to help other people in the poker community. I'm all for building up people in the poker community who want to also build up the poker community. If you want to tear it down, though, probably not friends. How do you explain to your wife that you're getting your money in good and losing on the river? Teach her how to play poker. Give her some experience. Give her, help her, right? I mean, for the most part, if you are with someone, with your wife, presumably she wants to connect with you on things that you enjoy, and you, in turn, need to connect with her on things that she enjoys. To be fair, it's fine to have first off, I'm not a relationships pro by any means, and my wife does not play much poker, but she has studied it a little bit. She's read one of my books, one of the smaller ones, and she goes and plays charity tournaments. It's something we can do together and connect with, and it's nice. And she's not a pro or anything, but she gets the idea of sometimes you get it in good and you lose, because she's gotten it in good and lost sometimes, right? And I try to connect with her on the things that she enjoys. And it's important to realize that relationships are reciprocal to some extent, and you have to give to get. And if your significant other does not understand you at all, it's because you have not done a good job of communicating it. Dr. Mize thinks that people are competing. I do not think that you're necessarily competing with other training sites, more as working in the same group. I don't think that if someone signs up for one training site, they're not going to sign up for any other training sites. And if anything, if someone puts me on their podcast in front of their audience, I get to promote me. So if anything, they're going to let me take some of their audience. So think of the value, right? Let's see. 20 years old, living in Mexico or U.S., moved to Mexico to play online. Long story short, ended up making the financial decision to move back to the States to rebuild your role. Any tips on rebuilding it? If you have a 5-day-a-week job, learn to make more money playing poker than your 5-day-a-week job, and then play a whole lot of poker. What's the next big tournament for me? The The Party Poker Caribbean Poker Party. There we go. It's always a tongue twister. I have so many things going on. I'm giving away 1% of it, completely free. Whoever wins the giveaway, you can enter that giveaway at jonathanlittlepoker.com/pp giveaway. All right, let's see. Louis Philippe, congrats again on your cash. Glad you got a little bit of money out of it. I seem like such a nice guy. The neat thing about the internet is that people are often not as bad as you may think they are, not as good as you may think they are. And I do my best to appear nice and helpful and beneficial and useful to the community. At the same time, though, I go through spells of being sad and depressed and worn out and burnt out, right? That happens to everyone. And it's important to realize that when you see someone on the internet, they are putting forward their best effort, for the most part. Unless they do it all day, every day. And to be fair, I try to do it all day, every day, because I want you to see real life. And you all see me making video blogs. Sometimes I win, sometimes I lose, because that's real life. All right. Let's see. Today we're going to talk about how to thrive when card dead. We're going to talk about 10 minutes about nonsense. Let's talk about how to thrive when card dead. First things first. What is card dead? A lot of people think that if you're not getting aces over and over and over and over and over and over again, that you're card dead. And that's just not the case. I don't know the actual number or percentage of the time that you will be card dead in my mind, but it's maybe 25% of tournaments you play, you're going to go, you're going to show up, you're going to sit down, you're just going to get no hands or almost no hands for 4 hours. You're going to get it all in with something, and then you're going to lose. And that's your tournament experience. And that's okay. That's expected, and that is normal. A lot of people get it in their minds, though, that is abnormal. They think if they do not get to frequently play hands, like 2 or 3 hands in orbit, that they are card dead and they should be angry about it. And they should be bitter about it. And understand that you are going to go on downswings. Someone posted just the other day on Twitter that, if you play a big sample, like 100 tournaments, you have a pretty good idea if you're good or bad. And I actually just posted images. Maybe I can show this to all of you on, non-Instagram. Just want to show you that you're going to have swings in poker. Because some of you may not be aware of this. I mean, a lot of people seem to not be aware of this. All right, here we go. This is a graph. Sorry, Instagram, you're getting left out on this. Here's a graph of tournaments. This is assuming you play... Actually, here, you know what we can do for Instagram? We can turn you around like this. Does that work? Okay, there, you see this. This is a graph of if you play with a 30% ROI in $10 tournaments. Did our internet just die? I hope it didn't. My brain's not working here. Basically, here we have 10 samples of 100 games playing $10 buying games with 30% ROI with 15% rake. As you see, we are going to have samples where very clearly we have downswings, right? You see this one down here in the green on the bottom? That person just went straight in the dumpster for 100 games. You see, most people, they barely won. You see, there's a break-even one. And this is actually the good sample. Let me show you the next one. I ran the same simulation again. Now you see there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 samples that are down. You may say, that's crazy. How does that happen? Oops. Let's put Instagram back. How does that happen? Well, it's just normal. Get used to it. That was a bit of an experiment that kind of failed. All right, next. Here is 1,000 game samples. You see, even then, there's 1 or 2 people who won almost nothing over 1,000 games. 1,000. If you play 100 a year, 3 a week. If you play 3 a week, 2 years out of 10, you're going to roughly break even. And then I showed a 5,000 game sample where you just basically always win. Even then, someone just got demolished. To be fair, they didn't get demolished. They won $5,000 over 5,000 games, but that's $1 per game, 10% ROI. Anyway, not a lot, right? So, recognize that you are going to go card dead sometimes. So, accept this, right? Accept that variance exists. However, once we get beyond this, and we're not going to be crybabies about it, we're instead going to think, okay, what can we do? Well, if you're getting no cards, what does your image look like? How does your image appear, right? So, if you have not played any hands because you've just gotten a poor run of cards, right? You just got a poor run of cards. How does your image appear to your opponents? Think about it. Well, it can appear one of 2 ways. Either you've played more than your fair share of hands because you got tight or you got loose and annoyed and tilty, and then you look tilty. That should not be what happens, though. Most likely, you played almost no hands, which results in you having a tight image. Okay? So, if you have a tight image, what are your opponents going to think about you? Well, they're probably going to think that you are nitty, right? So, if your opponents think that you are nitty, tight, not putting a chip in the pot without the nuts, what should your adjustment be? Your adjustment should be to start bluffing a lot, right? So, how do you bluff a lot? What are a few spots that you should look for? The obvious ones are look for players who are reasonable, who are competent, who think that you're tight, who will adjust and start raising you too often, right? So say you're in the big blind or on the button, and the player in the cutoff or the hijack or whatever, they think that you are going to play straightforwardly, okay? They raise. 3-bet them a lot. Don't be afraid. The best hands to 3-bet with are probably going to be blocker hands, so ace-x or king-x, maybe stuff like queen-jack, etc. You may say, ace-x, I never see an ace. Well, realize you're going to get an ace-x or a king-x a whole lot of the time. A whole lot of the time. Let me look up at Equilab, because I actually don't know how much. I want to make sure I'm not screwing this up for all of you. What percentage of hands contains an ace or a king? Does anybody know the answer off the top of their head? I'm sure someone can figure it out. Ace or king makes up 28% of hands. counting pocket aces, counting pocket kings, counting ace, king, etc. So let's also put in queen, jack, queen 10, queen 9, jack 10, jack 10. Now we're up to 33% of hands. 33% of hands have ace x or king x. So when cutoff raises, you're going to have one of these hands that is a very clear 3-bet, about a third of the time. I say a clear 3-bet. It's a loose 3-bet. It's an image concerned 3-bet, right? We're taking advantage of what our opponents are doing. And that's a lot of hands. So if you are 3-betting with 33% of your hands, even if you're running poorly, you may only get that, like, let's say 18% of the time, because you never even get a king, right? But even then, 18% of the time, 1 out of 5 orbits, you will have a chance to put in a light 3-bet. Now, you may say, in my games, it goes limp, 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 limp. What do you do now? Well, same story. Raise them frequently. Don't be opposed to raising with a wide range and crushing them. You may then say, if I raise over limps, what's going to happen is everybody's going to call me. Well, first off, most people raise way too small over limps. If there are 4 limpers in front of you, make it like 10 big blinds, right? Make it a lot. Make it costly. Then you may say, oh, I only have 40 big blinds. Do I want to put in 10 big blinds as a bluff? If you have fold equity, you do. Because imagine you make it 7 big blinds, they're all going to call you. That's awful. But if you make it 10 big blinds or 12 big blinds, they're just all going to fold. And if they all do call you or one calls you, whatever, you navigate from there. But you definitely want to be taking advantage of what your opponents are going to do wrong and also how they are going to inappropriately adjust to you. And if they think that you are tight, don't forget, you probably look tight. Unless, of course, you just show up with a maniacal image. The players are going to presume that you just have a good hand, right? So if you just have a good hand, then they're not going to give you action if they're paying attention at all. And again, if they're not paying attention, just get it in with the best hands. Now, you may say, I never get the best hands. If your opponents are playing way too loose and they don't care at all about what you're doing, you can probably get it all in with something like, what are we going to say? Let's say something like pocket 6s or better. Can you all see this? A range looks roughly like this. Pocket 6s or better, ace 2 suited better, king 10 suited, queen jack suited, king jack offsuit, ace 9 offsuit. This is 15% of hands. Even if you are playing tightly, or even if you are kind of card dead, you may get this only 7% of the time. That's still, what? Once every 15 hands. So once every 15 hands, you're going to get one of these, even if you're running poorly. So maybe if you're running really poorly, maybe it's actually once every 30 hands. Even then, if someone raises and you just rip it all in and they fold, you win their 3 big blind raise, small blind to the big blind, and the ante. It's 3, 4, 5, 5.5 big blinds, right? That's going to allow you to pick up 5.5 big blinds and hang around. You're not going to like crush your opponents by doing this, but you can hang around. And that's if you just sit there, play kind of tight, and then just jam, even getting cards almost never. King Jack offsuit, you get it all in with King Jack offsuit? In many scenarios, yes. Especially if people think you're too tight because they're going to fold. You're 3-betting with the blocker hands in this scenario. All right. Are we 3-betting polarized? Well, more so polarized in the form of nut hands and blockers, as opposed to nut hands and like suited connectors. Obviously, if you expect to get called a lot when you 3-bet, just 3-bet with a linear range. But typically, as you're shallower stacked, which is usually going to be the case in a lot of tournaments, the better 3-bet bluffs are blockers because you're not going to get called all that often. Whereas when you're deep stacked, people will flat you with all sorts of stuff, and then you have to flop decently well. 2 poker coaching coaches in the chat today. We have Evan Jarvis Grips. Good morning. Also, Lexi Gavin. Hope you're having a great day. I just made some poker coaching quizzes yesterday out of Poker Night in America content featuring Lexi, and she played great. So it's always good to see when your coach is playing great. All right. So you can 3-bet with a wider range than normal. You have to do it. You may say, oh, I'm afraid to 3-bet with a wider range than normal. Sorry, you came to play poker. You need to get in there and win some hands. You need to make it happen, right? And if you're not making it happen, you're just going to sit there and blind out and lose. And you don't want to sit there and blind out and lose. Sitting there and blinding out and losing is awful, because then you just can't win. So the right answer is not to just sit here and blind out, right? I think a lot of people think, all right, I'm carded, I'm just going to blind out and wait. The problem with that is that your opponents recognize You're only putting chips in the pot with the nuts. And if you're only putting chips in the pot with the nuts, they're going to fold a lot, which is why I'm telling you, they're going to think that about you, so start bluffing a lot. Next, you can 4-bet. If it goes raise from a loose person, 3-bet from a loose person, put in that 4-bet. Again, blockers are going to be great to do this. Clearly, you can be tighter in this scenario, but say cutoff raises to 3 big blinds, and button 3-bets to 9 big blinds, and you're sitting there with like 50 big blinds in the small blind or big blind, and you have a hand like ace-10 suited, ace-5 suited, queen-jack suited, ace-queen offsuit, ace-jack offsuit, pocket 8s. In that scenario, you should probably just be all in if you have a tight image. That's a little bit looser than you should normally be, but that is exactly what you should do. So don't be afraid to put in that 4-bet. Now, if you're tight and you raise and someone 3-bets you, and they're like normal, you probably don't want to be doing a whole lot of 4-betting then because they have a decently strong range. But there's spots where you can put in the cold 4-bet and it's quite strong. You'll have a lot of very unrelated questions today for some reason. Do I coach Omaha too? No, but I am very decent at Omaha. I would definitely suggest you find someone who plays Omaha on a very, very regular basis. What's the website for pokercoaching.com? Pokercoaching.com. It's right here on my shirt. Pokercoaching.com. Evan Jarvis says, you love the Jonathan Jaffe webinar the other day. Yeah, I've been doing my best to hire some of the best players in the world to create content for all of you. And I'm loving Jonathan Jaffe's content, so check it out. You can find one of them right there on YouTube. Go to youtube.com/pokercoaching. It's one of the first most recent videos that I posted discussing button versus big blind play. It is very, very influential. And also, he has loads of content at pokercoaching.com/premium. So, just going to continue adding more. Yeah, this would be a very good hat or shirt. Sorry, you came to play poker. And you can read it in many ways. Like, sorry, here's the scenario you put yourself in. Sorry, you got bad beat. Anyway, yeah, that could be a fun shirt. All right, next, flop or turn raising. I think flop and turn raising are quite strong and quite valuable strategies. Say someone raises, you call, flop comes, whatever, they continuation bet. If you know they're raising too often pre-flop and continuation betting too often post-flop, you can raise them very, very frequently. Now, if you study at pokercoaching.com, you know the best hands to raise are usually your nut hands and your draws, but maybe you want to widen it a bit to include more and more and more draws. Right? So, if you are going to have more and more and more draws, obviously you're way out of balance, but at least with a draw, it's like okay. For example, say someone raises middle position, you call with, let's say, queen-jack suited on the button. Say the flop comes 9-8-3. Here you have 2 overcards and a gut shot. This is an obvious scenario to not fold. Now, you're clearly going to call if your opponent bets or raise. That's an easy one. What if instead it comes 8-7-3? Now we have just overcards, maybe backdoor flush draw, maybe not. If they bet, if you're going to stick around, you probably want to go ahead and put in the raise. Now, if you think that they are continuation betting the flop frequently, then we'll just assume that you must have a good hand when you call their flop bets. Now, when they bet the flop, you can call very frequently, and then when they check the turn, you can bet. There you go. Anytime anyone has audio issues or video issues or any of that, on Twitch, YouTube, Instagram, wherever you're watching this, just click refresh. It'll fix itself. Make sure your volume's turned up. What do I think about short deck hold'em? I actually have a video coming out about this in the near future, about how I do not think you should spend significant time learning games that have not clearly positioned themselves to have a future where you can play them consistently and for relatively high stakes and stakes that progress, right? Problem with stuff like short deck is that you're either playing really high stakes, which I don't want to play games that I have no experience at for very high stakes, or you're playing micro stakes, but there's no progression upwards, right? It's very nice. Like, no limit hold'em is beautiful in that you can start at tiny stakes and just consistently like play double the stakes all the way up, right? You go 1-2, 2-4, 3-6, 5-10, 2-5, whatever, somewhere in there. 10-20, 25-50. It like goes double, 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 double. Whereas with short deck, and like mixed games are very similar. PLO is very similar. PLO's closer to no limit hold'em than all the alternatives, but essentially you either have to play tiny or gigantic, which is not so ideal. How can you join my team? Do I have sponsors? Not sure what you mean by join my team. Send an email, support@pokercoaching.com. No, I typically sponsor myself, pokercoaching.com, as you see here. I'm not actively looking for sponsors because... Why? Because I'd rather promote my own work, honestly. That's the right answer. I have enough stuff on my own. I don't need to get paid by somebody else to make the content because you all buy my poker educational content. I have a business where I teach all of you how to play at a very high level. I take you from being small and medium stakes players to high stakes winners. That's my job. And if I fail at my job, I do not deserve to get paid. I'm not out here trying to necessarily get loads of views. I'm just trying to provide loads of value to all of you. And anyway, that's another complete different tangent for another day. Can you raise with air in position? Sure. If you're card dead, if your opponents think that you have a tight image, when they fold you on the button, raise it up with any ace, any king, maybe even any queen if they're going to fold too often. From out of position, what do you mean, from like early position? No, don't raise with garbage from early position. You could maybe get a little bit loose. Like say, normally you're supposed to raise, I don't know, let's say like 10% of hands in the scenario. Maybe you raise like 14% of hands. And you probably want to loosen it up with the suited connected hands as opposed to the blocker bluffs then. But, yeah, that's that. How can you get one of these shirts? Can it say member on it? How can you get one of these shirts? Maybe we should just figure out a way to make these shirts. The problem is that this shirt costs like $80. It's very expensive because I only have a few of them made, right? The problem is I don't want to be in the shirt making business where I have to stock up on a bunch of shirts. I tried that in the past. Also, I found that all the print-on-demand companies, or at least everyone that I've found, the quality is very bad. We've tried doing that with print-on-demand, where basically, like, you just enter your information into a website and they'll print it and send it to you. Those ended up just being pretty bad. So, I haven't found a good answer for this. The answer is patches. You see this patch over here? If you're a poker coaching member, we will mail you some patches so you can do whatever you want with it. Ideally, don't deface it. All right, what else can you do? Flop and turn raising. So same thing. Whenever they show weakness, or if they just play normally, if you expect your opponent's ranges to be too wide, and on top of that, they expect you to be too tight, that is a fantastic spot to raise. Ben says, wearing a patch at the table tells your opponents you study the game. You think it intimidates recreational players. Well, that'd be nice. That said, anytime you volunteer information, you are giving up a little bit of value. Now, if anything, saying that you are a member of a training site says, I am trying to improve my skills, which is fine. That may mean you are trying out new stuff you're not so good at yet. Maybe that means you're already really great at poker. Maybe it means you're awful in trying to learn. You see, you don't really know what information it's conveying. So it doesn't really matter all that much. In reality, though, if you belong to a group, if you are proud of being in a group, if you have learned a lot from someone and want to give back to that person because they've helped you a lot, in my mind, there's like nothing wrong with giving up a little bit of value on your end to help spread the word because you've gotten a significant benefit out of something and you want others to get a significant benefit out of the same thing. It's rude to intimidate the new players by wearing a patch. I mean, this is just like 17th level stuff. I can guarantee you there's nothing rude about wearing a patch of any company unless it's a lewd, vulgar company. Let's see. My small stakes books made you from break even to a winner in 1 month time. Good job, good work. That's exactly what we're going for. All right, other spots where you can get out of line when you have a tight image is you can raise the river. Now understand that if you're card dead, you may not get to the river all that often. But if you do end up on the river with garbage, and your opponents think you're tight, you should be even more inclined to raise as a bluff, right? Because, again, they think you're too tight. This might as well be a question, a webinar or a presentation on how to play when you are tight. But when you are card dead, you are going to appear tight. except for in the rare scenario where you have actually played a decent amount of hands, you just lost all of them. When I was in Jacksonville just the other day playing World Poker Tour events, I was kind of card dead. I got kings in day 1A and day 1B. I lost with both of them to aces. And then I just didn't get a whole lot. And then what happened is I ended up getting it all in with a flip, or I think I got in with jacks for like 10 big blinds for one of the buy-ins against aces again. Ran into aces a lot. And you just lose, right? It's very important to recognize that you are going to lose sometimes. As I showed in those charts earlier, over 100 games, I don't know, a third of the time, 25% of the time, on average, you're going to be down if you're playing with a relatively low return on investment. And ideally, if you have a big return on investment, you'll just crush. But I think most people drastically overestimate their return on investment. Someone the other day said that they think they have 200% return on investment in soft $100 buy-in local games. I'm just saying, like, there's no way you're going to have 200% ROI in a 4-hour-long tournament. So there's, high variance to begin with. Not high variance necessarily, but there's a low skill advantage to begin with, just because the tournaments, you show up, you buy in, you play for a little bit, and it's over. Also, the rake is high, et cetera, et cetera. So it's like, you just cannot be all that profitable in those games. Maybe like 30%. I think 30% ROI is actually reasonable for most small stakes live games that you will find at your casino. And it's important to recognize that. You're going to lose sometimes. Yeah, second hat slogan, indeed. Super Adaptoid says, you played against 2 strong players for 14 hours. It really opened your eyes to how much you still need to learn. Well, good. That means that you're paying attention. You're focusing. A lot of people, when they play poker, they just kind of zone out and don't pay attention. So it's good that you're realizing that. And the issue with a lot of poker players is they think they know what they are doing. Because why would you risk your hard-earned money if you didn't think you know what you were doing, right? And I think you're going to find that most of the people who succeed at a very high level at anything all understand and accept that they have a ton to learn, and they never feel like they have learned it all. I mean, I'm in this camp. I recognize how not good I am. Dominic Niche has a GTO app that came out recently, and I watched the stream of him playing it, and he was just like getting half the questions wrong. And he's like, yeah, I'm pretty good, and I'm still getting half of them wrong. And I mean, I get about half of them wrong, right? And it's important to realize that we play nowhere near perfectly, and all you can do is try to get a little bit closer to perfect over time. And finding the right study materials that will give you actual instruction on how to do that is highly beneficial, which is why I made pokercoaching.com. By the way, if you have not gotten a completely free trial, go there, try it. Go through the webinars we have, go through the challenges, go through the quizzes. If you like it, give me a little bit of money, less than a tournament buy-in, and actually work to improve your skills. I was watching a Shark Tank yesterday, and there was this person who had like a ball that was a vibrating heat roller, kind of like a foam roller, but it's a ball that you can like take and just roll it on your neck or whatever. And the price was $150, and I was initially like, ooh, that's expensive. And then everybody else said, oh, that's expensive. And then the guy's like, think about it like this, though. If you go to and get a massage, and you get a massage for even $100, $60, whatever, this thing pays for itself very, 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 very quickly. And poker coaching is very similar to that, where even if you paid $1,000 a year, if you're playing a $100 tournament once a week, that's $5,200 you were buying in for, right? That's not even very high stakes, and that's way more than what most people do. Would you not pay even $1,000 to stop losing like 30% ROI and start winning at 30% ROI? Somebody get out the calculator. Let's say you go from losing $1,500 a year to winning $1,500 a year. It's a $3,000 swing. And that's so achievable. So achievable. Or if you're winning or breaking even at, winning at 10% or breaking even, you can go up to winning 30 or 40%. Again, $3,000 swing playing tiny stakes. Obviously, when you move up, it gets even cheaper and cheaper. It's just like a no-brainer. It's an absolute no-brainer to invest in yourself in almost all aspects of life. Do we go on a tangent or not? Some things cost a lot of money to get experience. I know that college, for example, is a good example of this, where college costs, I don't even know how much college costs, $50,000. kind of expensive. And that's to get a job that often pays like $30K a year, $50K a year. Whereas with poker, I'm pretty sure, well, I've done this many times. I have some students that are regular students. They have sessions with me every week, every 2 weeks, for like an hour, and they do this every week. And they're playing 5 to no limit. And they're winning $25,000 a month. I've taken them from break-even 2-5 players, small winning 2-5 players, to making $25,000 a month. And they're paying me, a few $1,000s a month for private coaching, to go through their hands, to make a point to plug any holes they have. And to be fair, like these players, they're already pretty good, but they realize if they pay Jonathan Little $20,000 over the course of a year, but they're making $250K, it's well worth it. I mean, this is why I've always hired a coach. Anytime I'm going to go learn a new game, I make a point to hire a coach, because getting all of their years of knowledge presented to you in exactly the format that you need and plugging exactly your mistakes it just like saves a lot of time. And in the long run, it saves a lot of money too. Is poker coaching cash or tournament mostly? It's a mix. I realize it's no limit hold'em only. It's a no limit hold'em training site at the moment. You're contributing to my retirement fund. I'm contributing to your poker knowledge. Not a bad deal. Can you take me for breakfast to pick my brain before you decide to sign up? No. You wish college only cost $50K. Yeah. First weeks of signing up to poker coaching took first place in an online tournament. $5 into $300. There you go. That's exactly what we're doing. Kevin says, if you're watching on YouTube, why are you not clicking the like button? Yeah, click the like button. Believe it or not, it's going to sound crazy, but clicking like actually does a whole lot on YouTube. If a lot of people, if a large percentage of the people who watch a video click like, YouTube will share it with other people because it means they liked it. Same thing for subscriptions, etc., etc. If you're not a subscriber on YouTube, I already know 60-ish% of you out there are not subscribers. Just click subscribe. It's completely free. And then Jonathan Little will pop up on the side. Throw me a bone. A completely free bone that costs you literally nothing. You make an Omaha site you're interested. I mean, again, look, right? Like, I am not a professional Omaha player. And it's important to realize that you need to be learning from someone who is doing that on a regular basis. I've talked with a few Omaha players about perhaps coming on board. But we haven't gotten there yet, right? Again, we need to make sure we make good long-term business arrangements that hopefully work for everyone. The likes just shot from 8 to 40. Very good. Thank you. Who said this? Kevin? Thank you, Kevin. I appreciate it. How do you find your graph on Party Poker? I don't know. I know that they are implementing some sort of system where you can log in and get your hand histories 30 days after you play them. So yeah. Will premium make you better than the cheaper alternative? Or maybe jump into premium once you've covered the cheaper alternative. So we have 2 membership levels at Poker Coaching. We have the regular membership that is $39 a month, which includes lots of challenges, lots of quizzes, and some classes. Poker Coaching Premium includes all of that, plus more quizzes, plus loads of classes, including like my Cash Game Master class. It's just a 6-hour, in-depth guide on everything you need to know to beat cash games, supplemented by the rest of the content, right? And I think there's something like 100 hours of 30-minute classes there by myself, by many of the coaches there. And some coaches are making content almost entirely for Poker Coaching Premium, like Matt Affleck every week. Now, I think he's doing 3 webinars a month for Poker Coaching Premium that are in-depth hand history reviews, where he reviews his hands, he reviews the students' hands. So if you want reviews from some of the best players in the world, that is where you need to go and do that. So I would tell you to do whatever you want to do, right? I mean, recognize if you're not taking studying poker all that seriously and you're going to study for an hour every week, well then probably just watch it for free on YouTube, right? Get the free membership. It'll take you 20 hours to get through the free membership. So do that first and see what happens. Also, if you don't like what you sign up for through me, just send me an email and I'll give you a refund. I don't want your money if I'm not helpful to you. Almost every other educational poker site out there, if you sign up and you don't like it, you're out of luck. That's never how I function, though. I realize that if you don't think that what you bought is right for you, or you don't like it, you don't learn from it, whatever, just tell me. I don't want your money. I want to help you. And, if I'm not helping you, I don't deserve to get paid. Let's see. What stakes are the students who are making $20K a month playing? Most of them are playing 2.5 to 5.10 to 10.20 live cash games or high stakes tournaments like I'm playing, $3,500 buy-in tournaments, etc., etc. But that's not where they all started. A lot of them started very, very low, right? I mean, like I'm telling all of you, a lot of them started off as like $500 tournament players who were struggling, but they wanted to change their lives. And to be fair, like a lot of these people are not business professionals who have tons and tons of money or tons of resources, right? They recognized that I don't want to go to college and get a job. I don't want to have a boss besides myself. And I want to set myself up to be able to do whatever I want in life. And they saw poker and my instructions as a way to get there. And they did. You're going to apply for backing for poker coaching. Yeah, so with poker coaching, we are putting a few people into tournaments each month. Louis Philippe here. We put him into the WPT 500 the other day. He cashed in it. Good job. And we're just going to continue to do that. That said, we've had literally hundreds of people apply. Because, hey, if you're a poker coaching member, it's free to apply. Why would you not say, hey, Jonathan, give me a free $500 or $1,000 or whatever it is to go play? So anyway, there's loads and loads of people who subscribe. But that's just like one other perk, right? One more perk to be a member. Louis Philippe says, since I put out Poker Coaching Premium, your ROI sticks around 78%. You get 4 to 5 deep runs every day online and plenty of first places every week. It's really amazing. Well, you're getting better. You're working hard, right? Louis Philippe is a good example of someone who has a job and is still putting in the time to get good because he loves poker and wants to improve his life and make more money, right? Do you think any person has the ability to become a great poker player? I think you have to be at least, like, you can't be, like, mentally disabled or anything like that. I'm sure that may not be the PC term. I apologize if it's not. You have to, if I had to guess, like, you need something like a 90 IQ or higher, okay? Pure guess, pure speculation. I'm sure they're going to demolish me on the internet for saying things like this. But I think you have to be at least kind of smart. And then you also have to be dedicated and realize you must also be disciplined. I do not think it is hard at all to win at poker. Now, the question is, how much do you want to win? And the problem is a lot of people think they're supposed to get rich quick, whereas in reality, poker is a great way to get rich slow. Is 90 IQ kind of smart? One thing, you can't be, like, really not smart. Very clear example of this. Say you have a 90 IQ and the people you play with have 80 IQ, and you play with them all day, every day, and you've studied poker and they haven't, you're just going to win, right? It's all about game selection. All you have to do to win at poker, 2 things. Find games you can beat, play in them a lot. That's it. So, find games you can beat and then play in them a lot, and you will win. The problem is a lot of people play games that are too tough for them, fail number 1, and then they don't play a lot. They fail at number 2, and they don't make any money. Average IQ in the world is 100. Yes, I'm aware of this. Apparently, you all missed the point. If you're interested in private coaching, email jonathan@pokercoaching.com, and I will send you information. I'm a darned rare person. That's why you spend some time with me. Well, thank you for spending some time with me. Speaking of coaching, I have a private coaching session in 15 minutes, so we have to wrap this up soon. But anyway, yeah, can anyone be a pro? What is a pro? Again, like I think most people can make 30K-ish a year from poker. Almost all of them can, if they actually want to spend 6 months to a year of their life studying and getting good. Most people don't want to do that, though. They just want to complain about getting unlucky and go from there. You have a job that pays you $1,200 a week. You just need to make $1,500 or more a week. What game do you think you should play? So you need to make $300 a week? First off, that's not how poker works. Poker doesn't pay you weekly. Get over that mindset immediately. Did you not watch the beginning of this where I showed you the graphs, right? Instead, I think anyone who gets into poker thinking, I need to play poker to make money, you're not starting off from a great spot. You need to get into poker because you like playing poker. You enjoy playing poker, right? You want to play a card game and have fun and maybe win some money doing it. But if you get into poker thinking, all right, I really need to make $300 a week to pay my rent, Like think about like what a bad spot that is to start at, right? I started playing poker with $50, and I wasn't playing to win all of the money. I was playing because I enjoyed it, right? I wanted to win money. I aspired to that, but I certainly wasn't thinking I need to make $300 a week, otherwise I'm doomed. It was more of, let's just see what happens. And I had something like $320,000 in my party poker account before I ever cashed anything out. Why? Because I didn't care about the money. I wasn't playing for the money. I viewed it as almost like a video game where your goal is to increase your score, not to win money and cash it out and spend it on stuff. And even then, I didn't really spend it on stuff. I just held on to it. I bought an apartment, which I still have, right? And that money is just sitting there, hanging out, giving passive income, which is very nice. It's hard to be disciplined. Any advice? Try to get outside of your head. Imagine you are standing over yourself looking, and you could give yourself good information. I have to do this myself sometimes because every once in a while I'll lose my mind. For example, last night I was sitting here, 5:30 p.m. The day was a long day. I made quizzes all day for you. And then I'm like, I'm going to go have a sip of whiskey. And then I got out of my head and said, Jonathan, do you really need that sip of whiskey? You don't need that in your life. So I didn't go have the sip of whiskey. And I'm better off for it, right? So recognize the things that you need to do and then do it. Also, I figured out a schedule. When the kids are home, I try to go to the gym. So I knew I was going to work 9 a.m. until 1 p.m. when the kids get home and start making a lot of noise. And then I'm going to get up and go to the gym. Not for long, for like 30 minutes. Put in a really hard workout for 30 minutes. And that's that, right? So I did it. And that's it. Do I smoke? No. I do not do... my drugs of choice are caffeine. Not a lot of it, though. Again, another good example. You don't need that extra cup of coffee, sir. Get off that. And alcohol, sometimes a lot, sometimes a little. Usually a little, though. Ideally a little. As you can see, it's I'm not going to say it's a struggle, because it's not. But it's like it's something I'd rather not do, right? I'm trying to get back in shape. Because you get a dad body after not working out for 3 years. So you have to get back in the gym and grind it out. There's a good book for all of you degenerates like me. This is it. Personal Organization for Degenerates by Brandon Adams, one of my friends. It's a tiny book. You may be annoyed if you pay whatever the MSRP for this is, $15 or something like this. But this book is worth, well, if you're going to apply all the information in it, thousands. Thousands and thousands of dollars of equity I've learned from this little book. Personal Organization for Degenerates. It's a good book. One thing I learned is that you have to recognize that if you are someone like myself, you will have periods of high motivation and periods of low motivation. And accept that. Realize that is okay. Don't be sad and beat yourself up because you don't feel motivated. And I used to beat myself up a ton. And to be fair, even today, when I'm at home, I'm working 9 till 6 all day, every day. Minimum, sometimes more. And that's because I have a lot to do. I have big aspirations, right? But at the same time, sometimes you just don't feel like doing it. So do something different. Try to set up your life so you have different things to do. Yesterday, I felt like making poker coaching quizzes. So I made poker coaching quizzes for the vast majority of the day. And I was happy doing it the whole time. It wasn't a problem. Supposed to make some weekly poker hand episodes. I've been kind of putting it off. Don't know why. But I have. So maybe I'll get to it. Maybe I won't. We'll see. I mean, I will get to it eventually, because eventually I'll wake up and I'll feel like doing it. I've been working on a book, excelling at tough no-limit hold'em games. Sometimes I feel like working on it, sometimes I don't. When I don't feel like working on it, I don't do it. And I definitely suggest structuring your life so that you have options, so that you can kind of do what you want to do, but you need to make sure you are still doing something to some extent. You like having a dad bod, so do the ladies. I'm not so sure about that. Rather just be in decent shape. All right. I think we have to go. I have a coaching session in 10 minutes. Hope you all have a great day. One more topic down. Here's my pile. Each of these represents a day of a little coffee, minus the Ask Me Anythings. We have a new book right here, ready to be made. That's going to take me forever. One more project, right? I always tell myself I'm done, but I'm never done. Or you can get Personal Organization for Degenerates, $10 on Amazon. Get it in one day. There you go. If you're not a degenerate, you don't need it, but this, I don't know if degenerate's the right term, really. I think it's more of like severe ADD. And you need to figure out how to channel your energy appropriately so that you are a productive individual. All right. Your regular job is too time-consuming. Yeah. Maybe you need to work out to get a few hours in a day. Yeah, you should. I mean, look, whenever you have a job, recognize that if you're good at your job, world class at your job, you probably are able to negotiate whatever you want within reason, right? If you are literally very good at your job, you can negotiate working from home 1 day a week, 2 days a week, 5 days a week. You can negotiate working fewer hours for the same salary because you're really good. Now, if you're not really good, that's a problem. And if you're not really good, ask yourself, why are you not really good? Why are you doing something that you're not really good at that you don't get to have any real benefits that matter to you, et cetera, et cetera. You want to make sure you're doing what matters to you and what is good for you. So find the things that you want in life and then design your life to get those things. And realize that there are often sacrifices. If you want a job that you have more free time, maybe that means you don't get paid as much. If you need to make X amount of money, why? Right? So ask yourself, why do you want these things? Why do you need these things? Et cetera, et cetera. What information do I need from a student to be an effective coach? I need about 10 hand histories to get started. That's it. Show me 10 hand histories. I can find loads of problems unless you're already very, very world class. You can have everything you want in life if you will just help other people get what they want. True to some extent. Question is, well, the issue is scale, right? I think a lot of people, one thing I'm learning from working with lots and lots of people in the poker industry is that some people have a big following, some people do not. The people with big followings, turns out, those who have helped lots of others, who are beneficial to others, they have a much bigger impact and a much bigger reach and are much more, I guess, beneficial to the audience than others. So it's important to help others. I definitely agree with that. LOL, I'm the top Amazon review for the Degenerate book. Well, I got the book as soon as it came out because I know Brandon Adams is a genius, and I try to learn from people who are in my industry who are better than me at most aspects of life. It's important to learn from others. All right, I have to go. I have a coaching session in 6 minutes. I should probably get prepared for that. Have fun. Good luck. Enjoy yourselves. What is the best product for tracking hands? Go to jonathanlittlepoker.com/products. No. That's not right. jonathanlittlepoker.com/resources. There you go. There I have all the tools that I use when I'm playing poker. All right, enjoy yourselves. Have a great day. Be nice to someone. And we will be back on Friday, 9 a.m. to discuss dealing with downswings. This is a question I get asked about all the time. I'm tired of answering it. So we're going to answer it once and for all. Have fun. Talk to you later.